Mr. Chairman, prior to us starting, before we get to the action items, I just want to make sure that, as everyone knows, due to COVID-19, we are in a virtual meeting forum. This meeting is being held virtually. And I ask that all THC members please note a roll call vote is required for all action items in order to establish a quorum, since not all members are physically present in one room. And each member must verbally state their name and indicate a yes or no to an action item. The public can participate in the virtual meeting during the call for the public input section or public comment section by either phone call during the meeting or via email. Thank you.
Thank you for that information. Okay, folks, let's go ahead and get started. This is the Monday, June 8th, 2020 Technical Advisory Committee meeting. I think we just went through our introductions. Do we have any public comments or anyone that's on from the public at this time?
Not that I'm aware of, sir.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to agenda item number 3, the approval of the meeting minutes. In your packets, if you've had those and if you've had a chance to take a look at, these are for the approval of the minutes dated May 11th, 2020. Any comments or items of clarification?
Sorry, guys, I'm here.
Hearing none, I'll call for a motion approval of the minutes for May 14th.
This is
Or
Kurt
May 11th, I'm
Scheibel.
sorry.
This is Kurt Scheibel. I don't see my name on attendees. I thought I attended that meeting.
I apologize, Kurt. That could have been, that was probably me. I thought I had put your name in there. I will add that to the list.
You have me under PCPT, but you don't have me as members and alternates. That's what the issue is.
Okay, all right. But I thought it, okay, that's fine. Thank you.
No problem. Other than that, I move to approve the minutes. Kurt Scheibel.
Second, Christine Untis.
Okay, if everyone would just list your name and if you are in favor of the recommendation of approval for these minutes, please.
Todd, let me go through the list. Cynthia Seidel.
Thank you.
Cynthia Seidel, aye.
Debbie Bulldog.
Aye.
Chris DeCiantis.
Great pronunciation. Aye.
I'm sorry.
I think that was me you were talking about.
Yes. Chris DeCiantis.
Nope, try again.
Was that a yes, Chris?
It was yes for the minutes, but no for the pronunciation.
You tell us how you pronounce your last name.
Phonetically, just how it looks. Dianuntis.
Dianuntis.
Got it.
Mr. Kurt Scheibel.
Aye.
Mr. Todd Vanderberg.
Aye.
Mr. Venkat Vatukuti.
Aye.
That's all I believe what we have as far as board
All right.
members.
Sounds
It looks
the
like
minutes
Mr.
are approved.
Dianontis' name is spelled incorrectly on the meeting attendees.
Yeah, I pointed that out to them. I pointed that out. They refused to change it.
That's me. That's me. I apologize. I do have to take a crash course in minute taking. I appreciate your patience.
It's their excuse for mispronunciation.
They almost had me.
Well, thank you all. The minutes are approved as presented with the minor comments made. Next item, number 4 on the agenda is the report on MPO board actions. Manny, we have anything on this to discuss?
Well, just very briefly, we have 3 action items, just like you guys had in May. They were all approved. The UPWP was approved. We had our joint MPO DOT certification that was approved. And we got our planning agreement for the 2-year UPWP also approved. There was 2 list of priority projects, and also the draft TIP was presented when we opened up the public comment period, which ended, and this month is also before you for the final approval, both the list of priority projects and also the TIP. That's all.
Okay, thank you, Manny. Well, moving on then to the action items. Manny, do you want to provide us just a brief overview of the 2020 LOPP?
Right, I would like for Todd, if you go to page 10, and there is a link on there, if you can pull it up for us. So I'm going to try to kind of summarize what we've done to date without going through all of the pages. I would probably summarize that there were like 3 major changes to the priority list from 2019. The first change was that we removed 4 ATMS projects, since they are funded by the county, and those were priorities number 3, 4, 5, and 6 from 2019 that you see on this list.
So Manny, just a point of clarification. Bruce B. Downs, State Road, County Road 581 is being partially funded by DOT.
Okay.
Remainder of those ATMS projects, Little Road and Trinity Boulevard, both those ATMS projects will be done when we widen both of those roads. And the Ridge Road ATMS, that's already been completed. That was done when they did the construction for Ridge Road.
Thank you, Debbie. So the second major change was we, to continue a request of DOT to streamline our tables. We have so many. We, again, this year tried, or we did import all the regional trails, plus the top TA project into this list, and those are priorities number 7 through 11 or 12. And then the third change we made, based on our conversation, Todd, if you could just stay on the first page.
Okay.
So the third change was, as we also introduced it to the MPO board, there is 2 roundabouts at near Dade City, and since DOT will be doing a resurfacing along that corridor, in coordination with DOT, we felt like moving those up will maybe DOT can incorporate these roundabouts with the resurfacing project. So we kind of moved them up to number 3 and 4. So basically, what you see near the top of this list are sort of low-hanging fruit. These are roundabouts and or trail projects, underpasses, and in comparison to capacity projects, they are not as significant as expensive of a project. So we kind of left them near the top, so where DOT has some funding can begin to fund those.
Manny, it's also important to note that on the 2 roundabouts on 52, and they're listed as priority 3 and 4, it is really critical that these improvements be made before State Road 52 is turned over to the county for maintenance. Because when Clinton Avenue extension is completed, State Road 52 will be turned over to the county. So the goal is to have the roundabouts done and any improvements and resurfacing done prior to that transfer occurring, which is probably 2 years out. So that's important to make that point too.
So this transfer will take place, as Debbie said, 152 is built. And I believe the resurfacing, when we go through the TIP, we'll mention that, is like a couple of years away, and it's enough time for DOT to kind of fund these 2 as part of the resurfacing. So then if you move down.
Manny, Manny,
Yes,
this
sir.
is Venkat. I just wanted to give you a little bit more information on that item number 3 and 4.
Okay.
FDOT actually, as of last week, they selected the consultants to redo the resurfacing designs and so forth. So this is the perfect time. We need to get in touch with FDOT folks to show that it is the new priority. We need to have this done as a part of their resurfacing design.
Okay, we will. Thank you, Venkat.
Because this happened only last week. They selected the consultant last Monday, Tuesday. Yeah. Okay.
So Manny, this is Todd. We're looking at the 301 project, 39 County Road 54. Am I correct in reading that the 2020 priority that is number 6?
That is correct, Todd.
Okay. Thank you.
You know,
Thank you, sir.
Yeah. So we're hoping DOT look to fund the right of way and also construction sometime for the US 301 one-way pair.
Yes, sir. That's what we're hoping for.
Todd, would you please go to table 4?
Manny, I don't have access to these tables right now.
So okay, so this, I did
I have
email you,
physical
Todd,
hard copy of them. I'm on page number 4.
we're on table 4, Todd.
Okay.
Also, Todd, this is Todd Kersey from the county, and when Manny says Todd, he's actually directing me to move the pages, not you. Sorry.
Good catch, Todd Kersey. I'm sorry.
Thank you.
So on the TA projects, which we're looking at right now, table 4, there's just a couple of changes. One is the number 1 priority, the Cody River underpass, has been removed, as I just mentioned, from this list and put on the table 1, the major list. The reason why we did that is this way, Cody River will have access to more revenue sources than just a TA. The TA is very limited funds, and it's going to take us several years to save up, maybe about a decade, to have enough money to pay for this. So we moved it to table 1. We coordinated again with DOT, and they felt like it's best to put it on table 1, as I mentioned, to have access to more revenue sources. So we removed it from the TA list, no longer on TA. The second change, Mr. Todd Kersey, if you go to the second page, is the Mitchell Boulevard, that it was number 8 last year, and it's NA now because that project received funding for construction in 2025. Those are the only 2 changes to the TA, and everything moved up relatively to the other projects. At this time, there's really not any other significant changes. And if you guys have any questions and comments, please let me know. Otherwise, I'm asking the TAC to make a motion for approval to be forwarded to MPO.
Manny, this is Todd again. On the TA projects, our projects, they all reference on the status of right-of-way verification needed. I'm just wondering, what's the next steps, and is that something we need to initiate or work with the county, or how does that get built? And then the second part of that question is, I know, like, for example, out in the county there, east of Pancart Road, there's a very large subdivision going in there now. So I'm just wondering, with a project like that, is the trail going to be constructed as part of that development project, or are we going to wait till TA funds are available to build it all in one segment?
Okay, so right after the priority list is approved by the MPO board, Tina Russo with our staff, she'll be going down the list and looking further into the details of the projects. And what we mentioned right-of-way needs, she's going to figure out if we need to buy right-of-way Are the locals going to buy right away? And then she'll be in contact with everybody on the list.
I don't know why it's
Yeah,
this way. I really need him to call me back because
yeah, we
And
can do
then
that.
the other project, I don't know exactly which one you're talking about, Todd. If it's not on the TA project priority list, we need to add that.
Yeah,
Usually,
I was just saying that there's a large single-family residential development on the north side of Island, east of Handcart Road, that's being developed, and I didn't know if part of that development review will require them to build that segment that fronts on Island Boulevard, that section of multi-purpose trail, or how the county dealt with issues like that.
So Tina's on the phone. So correct me if I'm wrong, but when developments come in for review, they are reviewed by, I don't know if Tina's looking at these now, but they are reviewed to see if there is a future trail planned along that frontage. And Ari, you can step in and correct me if I'm wrong, but I'm going to assume that if there is a plan for a multi-use path or a trail or a sidewalk, that's going to be part of one of the conditions of approval for that development going forward, provided it's on the side of the road where we envision that project's going to go in. And if it's not, I don't know if they're asking them to do some kind of a contribution or anything for a multi-use path or sidewalk. So maybe you guys can speak to that, because I do believe this is addressed. Developments are going in through review.
That's correct, Debbie. What's happening is when we receive those pre-apps, we look at each one of them and we make comments along with access management on sidewalks, multi-shared paths, all the above. Is we're part of that process and making comments. Even future commercial with any of our trail projects, we're reaching out to them to make sure they understand our vision roads and vision trails as part of the development.
Tina, are you looking at each one of the pre-apps that come in, or just on the ones that current planning requests that you look at them?
I use the ones that current planning gets in the pre-apps. Each one of them.
Okay. All right. I was just going to say it is just when Debbie, when you guys get a new set of plans, or Tina, it's also good to kind of just shoot them a little email to the technical team and say, hey, we have these new plans, just as a refresher, so it doesn't fall through the cracks.
Okay, well, I appreciate it. I know, just speaking on behalf of Zephyr Hills, I mean, that's the way we handle these developments. If there's a sidewalk called on our pedestrian map, approved map, then we have them build sidewalk. If there's a trail, they're required to build a trail. And this project I'm talking about would actually involve building a pretty significant amount of trail along Island Boulevard. Again, if it's scheduled to be on that side of the road, I guess that's the other thing we got to look at and confirm which side of the street that the trail is proposed. But if it is on the north side, this development has a lot of frontage on Island Boulevard where a large segment of the trail could be built.
Hey, Todd, send me an email and I'll double check on it.
Okay, will do. Okay, that's all I had for comments. Thank you. Any other comments from any of the other members? If not, we'll call for a motion.
Oh, let me just give a shout out before we do this. Again, let me give a shout out to whoever in MPO has been. I think Tina's been working on this. She's spent a lot of time on this. And Tania, so whoever in MPO worked on this list, I think you guys did a great job. And I appreciate you addressing all the comments that I have. And I know that the elevation of those two roundabouts on 52 is really, really important. So thank you for the work you did on that. And I'm going to make a motion to go ahead and approve the 2020 LOPP.
Thank you, Debbie.
I
Is there a
second it. Venkat, this is Venkat. I second the motion. I really echo the same sentiments.
Thank you, Vintesh. Manny, you want to go over do the list?
Yes, Cynthia Spidell,
Aye. Aye.
well, I'm just going to say the first name because I'm going to mess up Chris's last name. Debbie?
Dianuntis, aye.
Do that.
Debbie?
Aye.
Kurt?
Aye.
Todd Vanderbilt?
Aye.
Venkat?
Aye.
That's all.
Okay, sounds like it was unanimous approval for the recommendation of the 2020 LOPP. Okay, that'll bring us forward to the item B, which is the TIP 2020 through 2025. Manny, you want to talk about that?
Yes, Todd, can you please, so I kind of, Tania and myself prepared the TIP presentation to kind of give you a summary, highlights of what was funded in the TIP for the fiscal years 21 through 25. Just for keeping everyone straight, the fiscal year 21 runs from July 1st of this year through June 30th of 2021. Year one of the 5 years is the proposed budget, and we're going to wait for the governor to sign off on it before it becomes official. Years 2 and 5 are for planning purposes, and the projects that received funding includes DOT, and through some grant programs like SIGP and TRIP, there's some local funding also involved. These are your 5 fiscal years. The first year is fiscal year 21, and the last one is fiscal year 2025. And every year the TIP adds a new 5th year. So what we have on this slide, if you look on to the right, when DOT builds the TIP, they look at the NPO priorities, the TMA priorities, and TBARDA and DOT priorities. And if you look on the left side, this is the sequence of their effort to first do safety and security type of projects, such as like ITS and ATMS projects. And the second is system preservation, where basically these are projects when they do resurfacings. Multimodal enhancements are other aspects of roadway improvements, such as sidewalks and trails. Operational improvements are some safety at intersection turn lanes that we actually received one at 54 and 41. And it's been a great help in moving the traffic around in that intersection. And lastly, they look at capacity improvements as the last resort. And we're pretty much widened out, and we just need to look at other improvements on the DOT roadways. So the type of projects that receive funding are categorized in, so like this slide will go through like the roadway improvements, capacity projects. State Road 52 from east of 41 to Aaron Cutoff is a big chunk of the #1 priority for Pasco MPO, which was 52 from 41 to Bellamy Brothers. DOT was able to fund this piece of it up to Aaron Cutoff in 2025. Next project is US 41 from Connerton to 52. That was in the program. I just wanted to highlight that. That's going to be constructed in 2021. There's a couple of Wesley Chapel Boulevard segments that we applied for SIGP grant program with DOT. And using those funds and how much county had, we have construction in 22 and 23. This is basically a roadway that parallels I-75 and is going to significantly impact the traffic circulation in the area with the outlet mall and all the traffic on I-75. Next slide, please. So here's quite a few resurfacing projects programmed in county. One is 52 from Storch Lane to 301. Construction is in 2023. The next one is US 301 from Hillsborough County line to State Road 39. Construction is 2023. 54 from 41 to Knights Road. This is basically just east of 41, less than a mile, is in 2023. Those of you who travel on that road, when you get east of 41, there is a dip in the road that we've heard a lot of complaints about. We're hoping this resurfacing project will take care of it. US 41 from Pasco Hillsborough County line up to Bend Lake. That's in 2023. Then on the west side of the county, 54 from 19 to Virginia City Drive is in 2023. And from Mitchell Road to Marathon Road in also 2023. ITS project on 54, 56 from Gun Highway to 581 would be the last piece of 54 and a piece of 56 that will add cameras, fiber optics, Bluetooth readers, signal controller upgrades in 2023. I don't know, Vincat, if you want to speak to that. And
Yes, we agree. I mean, like I said, we coordinate very closely with FDOT, and some of them, or some pieces may be coming ahead also, but we will keep you posted when it happens.
Thank you. So moving on, there is a lot of safety improvements such as lighting on US 19 from Pinellas County line to New York, and also 52 from 19 to Hicks. Again, Vincat, if you know, I mean, I don't know what enhancing, I guess they're putting on cleaner or brighter lights in there to be more visible. Also on 54 from 19 to Little Road and 301 from Tucker to Pretty Pond, also the same thing. They're enhancing, updating corridor lighting.
Okay, from 54 from US 9 to Little Road, the one thing they're doing is they're adding the missing intersection lighting at a couple of intersections. Like example, Madison 1, and there is 1 or 2 other intersections. They're adding the lighting, which is missing right now. And the second thing is US 301. Yes, again, there are 2 things that are happening. They're adding the missing street roadway lighting at the intersections and also some corridor lighting. However, beyond these 2, we are working with FDOT Safety Office to have a lap agreement coming up next after July 1st to add the street lights on 56 between Bruce B. Downs and Meadow Point, and also on the Bruce B. Downs between 54 and 56, and also 1 or 2 county roadways. We will have.
So you're kind of getting ahead of us. I have the 56 ones on the next slide coming up.
Oh, okay. So they gave you.
So if you go to the next slide, Mr. Kersey.
Yes.
Hey, before we jump that next slide on the lighting project on 301 from Tucker to Pretty Pond, is that primarily like intersection lighting enhancements, or is there lighting provided along the entire corridor as well? Do we know?
This is Venkat again. To begin with, they're filling the gaps through the intersection lighting. Depending on the dollars, actually, they're looking to go for the corridor lighting. That's what I heard.
Yeah, and the other point was, I know we've been having, of course, ongoing discussions with DOT and Pia and her group, and just to make sure with her involvement with the PD&E that she's involved with or aware of the lighting project as well.
Andy Jensen is on the line. Do you want me to unmute him?
Yeah, can you do that, please?
Hey guys, this is Jensen Hackett from DOT for the record. Just kind of reiterating on these lighting projects from what you heard from Venkat. All of these lighting projects are introducing new lighting, or they are filling in gaps along the corridors and or at intersections. And all of these lighting upgrades will be to LED lighting for every single one of these projects. So this is going to be filling in all the corridor gaps. If the corridor has no lighting, it will be introducing lighting, and it will also be upgrading any lighting at signals. Todd, for the 301, we're obviously our safety group is working with Pia for that corridor. So we're making sure that the upgrades that we do to 301 corridor will be in line with what we are coming up with you and the city for the future of the one-way pairs on 301.
Great. Thank you, Jensen.
Thank you, Jensen. I don't know that you're on the line. Otherwise, I would have hold my tongue.
No, you're fine, Venkat. No worries.
Yeah, Todd, if you could just keep Jensen mic on, he's a part of the, he needs to be on.
Will do.
So here are the two that Jensen was talking about. These are installing new lighting on 56, basically from east of I-75 all the way to Meadow Point Boulevard. Those are both scheduled in 2023. And then the last piece of 54 from Gunn to Altamont, also installing lighting. There's no lighting there now in 2024.
Wiregrass Mall to Meadow Point.
So moving into ped and bicycle improvement for the 5-year TIP, Mitchell Boulevard, as you noticed in the priority list, we removed that because the funding is in 2025. Then we have Old County Road 54 from 54 to Little Road. Construction is in 2023. And a couple of safe routes to school, Ballantrae Boulevard and Fort King Road in Dade City are added in 2024. And the most expensive project, this is the funding we received for the piece of Orange Belt, the very southwestern piece of it, from Little Road to 54. Construction is SunTrail funded. It's a statewide competitive funding. Received funding for construction in 2025. So this kind of summarizes all the 5 years is about $300 million, roughly $60 million a year. And these are the categories that it pays for. The MPO planning, capacity improvements, resurfacings, bike ped projects. I didn't include any transit. Kurt, if you want to chime in on some of the stuff that you got funding for, I know one of the projects is the Shady Hills area. Saw some dollar amount for that. And there's traffic operations, ITS, and there's, believe it or not, there's some aviation funding in there as well for the airport we have in Zephyr Hills. Some runway improvements and extensions and stuff. Kurt, do you want to highlight a couple of projects that you have for transit?
He stepped away from the mic, Manny. He'll be right back.
Okay, so, do you guys have any questions you want to ask? If not, we're asking the TAC to approve the 2020 TIP.
Who pays for the lighting bills over time?
I believe Jensen can correct me if I'm wrong. It's all the locals have to pay for that.
Yes, that's correct, Manny. We do the front cost of the construction of it, and then the maintenance goes on to the locals.
Even if it's on a state road?
Yes, and usually that's taken care of through I believe it's a memorandum of understanding with maintenance on that. But yes.
So I don't know if VenCat's still on the line, but with this round of LAP funding that we're getting, there's some provisions in there that allow some of the lighting costs to be paid over a fixed period of time as part of this LAP agreement for the lighting projects that VenCat's been working on. So normally, though, it's the local governments that are paying for those. But I think with these new lighting projects, and I don't see a lot of them on, because Little Road is on the list, there's some county roads that are on the list. And I think we'll some of those costs over, I think, 10 years.
So when you guys look into these projects, do you actually estimate what the ongoing maintenance costs are going to be associated with the lighting costs? And is that being programmed into the budget?
Yes.
I'm just curious because I remember in 2008 when we shut all the lights off.
Yes. So, there's VenCat. VenCat can speak to that too, but yes.
Yes, that's what I'm actually working on.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see, for the Zephyr Hills lighting project, that'd be good information. I guess it'd be a shared agreement for the state, between the city and the county, I guess, because it'd be multi-jurisdictional, and we'd like to know what those estimated costs are going to be for budget purposes.
Yeah, this is Venkat again. At the request of the Peter Shu, who I'm working for this lighting, I'm actually working on getting the estimates, monthly bills and so forth, so that we can provide that information for FPOT as well as from the county side, so that we can allocate enough for the future.
Thank you. Well, any other comments on the TIP? If not, we'll call for a recommendation for approval, for a motion.
Make a motion to go ahead and approve the TIP fiscal years 21 through 25.
I'll second that.
And who seconded it?
Cynthia.
Cynthia. Okay. Okay, Manny, you want to?
Yes.
Name?
Cynthia,
Aye.
Debbie,
Aye.
Chris,
Aye.
Kurt,
Aye.
Todd,
Aye.
Venkat,
Aye.
unanimous.
Thank you. Moving on to item number 6 of the agenda, status reports, presentation updates. Are there any?
We just had this TIP presentation, that's all.
Okay. It was a nice job, by the way, Manny and your staff there. The slides on that are very well put together, easy to understand.
Yeah,
Appreciate
we
it.
kind of stole DOT's PowerPoint and we added on to it.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, DOT.
Thanks, Jensen.
You're welcome.
Any CMP task force issues?
So Ari will speak to that one.
Congestion management
Yes, our consultant has been working on the CMP, and they have some preliminary results. So I'll share those with you. And then when they have a draft report, they will send us the report and we will email that draft report to you so you can ask questions or make comments. Particularly, this preliminary results is just a little summary, so it doesn't really talk about methodology. So if you're interested in that, then we can, that there will be an opportunity for that. So Todd, I'm going to put, let's see, I'm going to put this on the screen and try to share it. I'm not very good with this, but let's see. Okay, I think that's it.
There you go. It's coming through.
Okay. All right. So the preliminary findings are indicating that the percentage of roadways, the percentage of roadway miles and vehicle miles traveled in Pasco County on congested corridors has decreased since 2014, and that's good news. And that is the result of two factors, mainly improvements and new road construction, as well as widening. Let's see, over here it says that the CMP network was comprised of 580 miles. That was in 2014. Now in 2019, it grew to 625 miles. So the overall number of crashes has increased, and here is the little table that that does break them out by type. Over here we see the top line shows an increase of 769. One thing that I thought was kind of interesting about that, if you look at the last red line where it says distracted driving crashes, it seems like that accounts for about half of that difference. So that's pretty significant there. We also see that a significant increase comes from at intersection crash. Now we see some significant decreasing number of work zone crashes and also in lane departure crashes. So, that there's a lot to look at there and digest, but it's also interesting to just kind of look at them from a panoramic point of view. If we keep moving down, it says that generally, are you able to see, let's see, is the view good there that when I'm sharing? I'm not sure if you guys are able to see well what I was trying to point out here with the table.
Yeah, it looks good, Ari.
All right, thank you. All right, so here it says generally the congested areas in the county remain similar to those identified during the last CMP update, and below are some examples of recurring congested segments in 2014, 2019, and 2024. That's County Road 578 from East Road to Shady Hills Road, and I believe that's North County line. Correct me if I'm wrong. Then US 19 from County Line Road to State Road 54. State Road 54 from US 41 to Collier Parkway. 7th Street from US 98 to US 98, and that's not a typo. The road kind of loops and intersects 7th Street in two locations. Then US 301 from south city limits of Zephyr Hills to C Avenue. And then some examples of new congested areas in 2019 and 2024 are State Road 52 from County Road 583, which is Aaron Cutoff, to Bellamy Brothers. Then Little Road from Ridge to Jasmine Boulevard, and Meadow Point Boulevard to State Road 50, Meadow Point Boulevard from State Road 56 to State Road 54. So again, if you have more specific questions, we'll be able to follow up and ask the consultant about methodology. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you for that information presentation. We look forward to to seeing the draft report coming up, and we'll be able to take another look and provide comments back. Okay, well, unless there's any comments or questions on that. If not, we'll move on to the PCPT update.
Good afternoon, all. I hope everyone's being nice and healthy out there. Big news for PCPT is that we're actually got through the bottleneck for our paratransit service. Paratransit service RFP, we're waiting for one question to get answered, and I hope to goodness that it gets out this week. It has been since before October of last year to get to this point, so we're moving along pretty good, and we really need that getting out there. Secondly, we are in the final stages of putting together our comprehensive operational analysis. It'll probably go before the board. If everything goes well, we'll meet the June 22nd deadline, which will get us to the August 4th approval. We're looking at $500,000 for a complete look at it, and all the cities. We'll probably want to sit down with everybody in the cities' TACs to talk to you about what you think we need transit and where we need to serve in your areas, and also looking at the different areas on that. And then we're picking up a lot of bills from other companies. We're paying Tabarda now, so we're really having some, our budget is going to be under large constraints moving forward. So there's a lot of things we used to be able to do that we're not going to be able to do anymore, but we're still going to be able to get service out bus-wise. And our new buses are going to be delivered within the next week or so. So we'll start getting one or two of those, which is really nice. Because some of those other buses are, like we have one from 2003 we're keeping together with spit and baling wire. And I don't know how it's still rolling out there, but it is. So we're keeping that going. So our next big project we're going to be working on, other than the COA, one after that is going to be the intelligent transportation system. And we're working on that there too. So that's about it for PCPT. No questions.
Kurt, this is Todd. Is there some time, are you guys looking to meet with the cities in the near future to talk about these routes?
I can't do anything until after it's approved by the board because it's over, the limit, which should be sometime in August. So there's your deadline. I can't go before that. Okay. I can't do anything until then, but I'm looking for probably around September, October. So it'll be after everybody's, summer break.
Okay, thank you, Kurt. Okay, does anybody have any other business or items of note to bring up to the committee? If not, we can also roll into the TAC member roundtable for any general comments that folks might have. I'll start off with Manny and Debbie. I know I've asked about this before, and I thought it was going through the approval process, but for the sidewalk on 20th Street running south from County Road 54 to Henry, do y'all know by chance off the top of your head where we're at with that project?
Only person would know would be Debbie, and she's probably gonna have to check.
Okay.
So the bids on that opened, and I think the notice to proceed is happening this week. I can get, I'll have the project manager reach out to you with the information on the contractor and the project scheduled. But
okay, that'd be
approved, and I'm pretty sure that that's happening with this week, or it's happened. So Rick Marcel is the PM on that. So I'll just I'll shoot him an email and have him get in touch with you on it.
all right. Thank you, Debbie.
Okay.
And the only other item I had was, Manny, I think you probably remember some emails, and I was just asked by our city manager with some projects we have going on. I think it's in the schedule for, I don't know, the county's resurfacing or whatever it's called to do the resurfacing of Wire Road from County Road 54 to 301. Is that, has a schedule been determined, or when does that get done at the county level?
Todd, I can give you the contact information who deals with that resurfacing or paving. I'll email you so that you can contact him and get the information.
Okay, Venkat, thank you very much.
Thank you.
That's all that I had.
So this is Debbie. I guess I've got a few things I can share with the group. So DOT opened up the bids for the design build for I-75 and overpass on May 12th. And just so that everybody's aware, the construction costs that we're seeing this year have increased at least 15%. So that job came in over budget by $9.7 million.
Ooh, wow.
Yeah, big wow. So, and that was the low bid. The low bid was 9.7 million higher. So we are working to do a budget amendment, and DOT is also going to be helping with some of the funding on this. It doesn't show up in the work program, I guess, because this is July 1st, and I think the funding that they're using is prior year funding, but they'll be contributing a little more than $2 million for this, and the county's going to have to make up the difference. But the project is going forward, and it should be under construction this fall.
Thank you, Debbie.
And then the other thing I had, Manny, I need to get with you after this TAC meeting, because that intergovernmental agreement with Hillsborough County is going to be going to the board, and that's to do the connection at Kinnan and Mansfield for the bike ped connection and for the emergency vehicles. So I'm going to have to get some information from you, because that's going to the board for approval on the 30th of June. And they cited I know that you guys did a study out there. I know Allie was involved in it, and there was a presentation that was made to the MPO, and then there were specific recommendations that were made. So I'll need to get with you after this meeting to get more information.
Okay.
Oh, and then one other possible good note. We've got a couple of TA applications pending. Tina had been working on those, and I'm hopeful that those will get funded. One is on School Road and the other is on Jasmine. We just provided some supplemental information to DOT's consultant who's doing the review. So I'm hoping that maybe they'll get picked up next year for funding.
So DOT later on this year will develop the tentative work program. We'll look for those two projects.
Yeah, it could be on the tentative. That's all I have. Thanks.
Thank you, Debbie. Any other member comments from anybody? Well, hearing none, we'll call for an adjournment. It looks like the next meeting will be August 10th.
Right. So since we don't meet in July, the next meeting would be in August.
And I guess we'll see if we're still doing virtual or meeting at the county. Yes, time will tell.
Yep.
I have a quick question. Manny, if I'm supposed to report back to the PDC board, I think maybe at least once, if not twice for the year. So is that presentation that you did something that's publicly available that I could bring with me if and when they've called me to kind of bring them up to speed?
I'll send it to you, Cynthia.
Okay. Do we need I guess, a motion for adjournment?
I make a motion for adjournment.
I'll second that. This is Debbie.
Okay.